యా మనం ఇంట్రో షూట్ చేస్తే
ఐ థింక్ 1 hour కదా, అరౌండ్ 1 hour.
51 minutes వచ్చింది.
ఏంది ఈ ఫ్రైడేనా?
ఎడిట్ చేయాలి, ఎడిట్ చేసి డ్రాప్ చేస్తాం. ఇంట్రో ఏమనిద్దాం మరి ఏం చెప్తాం?
You start the movie with a quote from Franz Kafka. The editor
Yeah.
keeps on speaking that we are making a bullshit movie.
It's all about trolling ourselves. While coming out of the theater, they'll definitely tell this is the worst film ever made. That's what we said. That's what we promised to you. That it's going to be a bad film. That's mostly every director's insecurity that nobody's going to watch this film because it's so bad. 50% of the budget of the film went into that. The reason was the desperation of a new director that he has to use all cameras, all lights, all angles. But that was by accident. When we cut the two shots, magically it appeared. I mean, it was not planned. So nobody knew which role they would be playing. I think I watched some 1,000 ads only for transitions. We always fight about cast. However we say we are liberal, they still make a costume. I think we could only shoot 15-20 seconds a day.
When the editor came on screen and started speaking, I lost my shit. Like this is completely next level.
ఇంత పెద్ద ఇంట్రో అవసరమా రా మనకి?
Is there going to be a part 2?
So there's definitely not going to be a part 2. I have to leave.
మన ప్రీవియస్ కాన్వర్సేషన్స్ కంటే కొంచెం
It
ఫాస్ట్.
is not laid back.
ఇట్ ఇస్ నాట్
It is not laid
ఫాస్ట్
back,
ఉండే ఫాస్ట్ ఉండే అంటున్నా అంతే.
నేను అందుకే like I was mixing 4-5 things together and
నేను ఎన్ని రాసుకుని తెలుసా, ఎంత లిస్ట్ ఉంది తెలుసా?
bro అని అంత లిస్ట్ ఉందా అయ్యో?
నేను 120 స్క్రీన్ షాట్ తీసుకున్నాను. నేను 120 స్క్రీన్ షాట్.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. సో ఆఫ్టర్ లాంగ్ యాప్ ఇవాళ ఒక స్పెషల్ ఎపిసోడ్ రికార్డ్ చేసాం నితిన్ కృష్ణమూర్తి, హాస్టల్ హుడుగురు బెకాగిద్దరే డైరెక్టర్తో. సో కొంచెం నీ సినిమా కానీ ఇట్స్ లైక్ బెస్ట్ ఫిలిం దట్ హ్యాస్ కమ్ అవుట్, బెస్ట్ ఫిలిం, యూనిక్ ఫిలిం, వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ మే కాల్ ఇట్. అన్ని ఆస్పెక్ట్స్లో బాక్స్ టిక్ చేస్తుంది. సినిమాటోగ్రఫీ, మ్యూజిక్, రైటింగ్, డైలాగ్స్ ఆర్ మైండ్ బ్లోయింగ్, సౌండ్ డిజైన్
క్రేజీ.
సో we got a chance to sit with him, talk for some time. So like మేము చాలా పాయింట్స్ అనుకున్నాం, like it would have been a like 2 hours, 2.5 hours of conversation with him. But కొంచెం టైం కన్స్ట్రెయింట్స్ ఉండడం వల్ల we had to brought it, like package it down. కొంచెం like that's why you see కొంచెం ఫాస్ట్గా ఉంటాయి మా క్వశ్చన్లు, కొంచెం అన్ని క్లబ్ చేసి ఉంటాయి. బట్ ఇట్స్ a very good conversation. అంటే లైక్ సో మేమిద్దరం ఏం ట్రై చేసాము అంటే ఆయన చూపించడం కాకుండా దాని వెనకాల రీజనింగ్ ఏంటి, ఆయన ఏం నమ్ముతాడు, ఆ నమ్మడాన్ని నుంచి ఆ సీన్ ఎలా పుట్టింది. సో కొంచెం ఆ జోన్లోకి వెళ్ళడానికి కూడా ట్రై చేసాము ఇన్ ద షార్ట్ స్పాన్. అండ్ పృథ్వీ టెక్నికలీ కొన్ని షార్ట్స్, కొన్ని డీటెయిల్స్ చెప్పాడు విచ్ బ్లోస్ యువర్ మైండ్. హౌ అంటే లైక్ హౌ ద రైటర్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఫ్రేమ్ టు ఫ్రేమ్ కట్ చేసి ఎలా పెట్టారు. సో హీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్స్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దాట్. సో యా, ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ అంటే లైక్ ఒక ఫిల్మ్ మేకర్కి ఒక పర్స్పెక్టివ్ ఎలా అయితే బిల్డ్ అవుతుందో ఆ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ ఎలా అయితే చూపియాలో ఆయన చెప్తాడు లిటరల్లీ కాన్వర్సేషన్లో. ఆయన ఆ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ని ఎలా తీసుకురాగలిగాడు అనేది కూడా చెప్తాడు. సో ఇన్ దట్ వే ఇట్స్ వెరీ స్పెషల్. ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ స్పెషల్ ఫిలిం, వెరీ స్పెషల్ కాన్వర్సేషన్. హోప్ఫుల్లీ ఈ కాన్వర్సేషన్ కూడా పార్ట్ 2 ఉండొచ్చు. వీఆర్ హోపింగ్ దట్ వీ విల్ హ్యావ్ పార్ట్ 2. బట్ మిగతా అంతా పైవాడికి వదిలేసాం అన్నట్టు. యా, హ్యాపీ.
కానీ సినిమాకి పార్ట్ 3 ఉంటుందంట. లిసన్ టు ద హోల్ కన్వర్సేషన్. యా.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. టుడే ఈస్ అనదర్ స్పెషల్ ఎపిసోడ్ with another special filmmaker, or at least a very special film for me, the director of Hostel Huduguru Bekagiddare. I hope I didn't butcher the title.
No, that's right. Hostel Hudugaru Bekagidare.
Yeah, so
in Kannada it's Hostel Hudugaru Bekagidare, in Telugu it's Boys Hostel.
Yes. So he is with us. So welcome, Nithin. Thanks for giving us some time.
Thank you.
So I saw the film in theater. So after a lot of noise, I saw the original Kannada version in theater in Hyderabad. So it's very sad that I sat with 6 people. There were hardly 6 people in theater. So I took along my friend. So after seeing the movie, I did not understand the movie whether I liked it or not. But I found it very fresh. Something I did not see all this while. But the film eventually grew up on me. Like, as days passed, I was still thinking about the film. I was bugging him. You should watch this. This is something
Basically
that has
Sandy
never
became
been done in
Echo
Indian cinema
for some time.
yeah. So I was like, all of our community, I was buzzing that you should watch this film. So after a point of time, I really liked it, and I rewatched it like when it came on OTT. And so whatever nit, like small details you have left here and there with your dialogue, right? So that keep getting back, so that keep hitting hard. And I see, like, I mean, I don't know if I'm digging more into it, but I see there is a, like, a bigger picture also that you were trying to say. uh, I mean, so on multiple rewatches, I enjoyed the film even more. uh, so yeah, so it has been a great experience, probably best movie till date in 2023 for me, for sure.
Thank you.
So, I mean, basically, what we do is that we tell our experiences, how we initially watched the film, how we initially perceived the film. So, as Sandy said, his version, and because before we started recording, I mentioned that I'm studying my masters in Germany, so there was hardly any release here. So I had to wait for the OTT version, because and by the time the OTT release happened, the buzz was so much, and there was a Telugu version that released after Chai Biscuit hopped in and dubbed it. So the hype was actually real, and so I was getting hyped up for the film. And when I actually watched it, I realized that the hype is actually real, because the dopamine hit that I was receiving in my head with each and every line you're dropping throughout the film, with the jokes or with the references. You refer a lot of people. You refer art. You refer films. You take political digs. All the stuff you do. So it was quite refreshing for me, as Sandy used the word, because you keep going. You increase the level of the film, the meta level of the film, with each 15 to 20 minutes, right? You And by the midpoint, when the editor came on screen and started speaking, I lost my shit. I like,
Mhm.
this is completely next level stuff. So that was happening for me. And as Sandy said, it's one of the top contenders of one of the best films of this year, and probably the last few years as well. So I think this has been the similar this kind of reception has been similar all throughout, at least whatever I've seen on social media, and how, yeah, how the internet has been perceiving the film. So congratulations on that. And
Thank you.
we were quite excited to actually have a conversation with you. So that's why we wanted to host you on a podcast. So yeah, thank you for
Same
your
here.
time.
Sorry, I made you guys wait for a couple of weeks. I was
No,
stuck
no,
with
no.
some other.
That's all right. That's all right. No, no, that's all right. Yeah.
So you guys haven't watched the Telugu version yet?
No.
No,
The
I don't
Telugu
think it's
dubbed
on OTT
language.
yet.
No, it will be on OTT in another couple of weeks. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, Sandy gone.
um yeah, so you took, okay, so you start the movie with quote from Franz Kafka that says it's only because of their stupidity that they are able to be so sure of themselves, of what they see, say, believe, and act. It's very interesting because this rhetoric, right? This rhetoric, whatever you start the film, is throughout the movie. The editor
Yeah.
keeps on speaking that we are making a bullshit movie. Your plot line is also like worst film made in history.
Ever made.
So this rhetoric is, and uh, the character Ajit, who is making the short film, even he is very critical of himself, saying that,
Yeah.
and people around him are also very critical. So, but so the movie can be perceived as a very funny movie, a lot of jokes, but at the end, a lot of things that actually happen in real life hostels and real situations are kept in the movie. And so it's not like it's just a funny movie. So how, like, while writing this movie, how did you perceive uh, to be this movie? Because it's very clearly very unique, very self-aware, probably the self-aware, like in Indian cinema it is like the pinnacle of self-awareness, at least in cinema, from whatever I've seen. So while writing, how did you perceive this particular film?
See, the way this movie had to be shot, I was very clear from the initial stage. This would be a cinema verity style movie. And the campaign that we ran across, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, the marketing campaign, it was all about trolling ourselves. And every celebrity who's going to come for the promo, like usually when they release a poster, they say it's a good poster, it's good. So The first poster we released was with Apu sir, and where he trolled us saying that this is the worst poster ever, this is the worst title ever,
Yes.
all of this, and he approved of it, that saying that this could be the worst film ever made in the history of cinema. One, I love meta, like yeah, like you said, every 15 minutes there's some self-awareness that you keep telling that this is one of the reasons why we keep making fun amongst ourselves, that even if the reviewer goes outside the theater and asks the public how's the film, if he says the worst, that's what we said, that's what we promised you, that it's going to be a
Yes.
bad film. And the style, yeah, while writing itself, we were pretty sure that, see, the doubts that I get when while watching a movie, why did this scene come? Why is this director doing this? Why? So every time an audience gets this doubt here in the movie, I used to distract them by telling them, yes, listen, even I had the same doubt. So why is this guy Ajit doing this? That's mostly every director's insecurity, and there has to be some insecurity while writing, and it showed up on Ajit's writing also, and it was going haywire. Like whatever he wrote, whatever he thought could become the movie, was not going well. So he started telling it. It's almost like me telling the audience as well that, listen, even I don't know what is happening. It's just going in that way.
So, so I mean, so filmmaking is a collaboration process, right? So it's a collaboration process of a lot of people, a lot of creative heads coming into doing that thing. So when you're so self-reflexive and there are fragile egos everywhere, so how do you handle that? Because you are being self-reflexive, you're trolling yourselves. That is for you, Nithin Krishnamurthy doing it. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone collaborating on it has to be on the same page, right? To make it so self-reflexive, whatever
Uh,
HHB has become.
So one thing we were very clear initially itself, that let's not blow our trumpets. Let's be very clear in the script or in the way we are going to promote the movie. And in the script, it came organically that it's a frustrated director's sayings like, I don't know what is happening and why are we even doing this. And there is this movie inside a movie, so the editor also says that nobody's going to watch it.
Yes.
It's clear that nobody's going to watch this film because it's so bad. I'm sure the audience might have got a couple of times. I think at least there'll be around like 15-20% of people who did not enjoy the movie. I'm sure there are. So their only relief would be that even filmmakers knew this. So the editor is saying, the director inside this is saying,
Yes.
everybody is saying. So I think that's the only way they would have forgiven us. That's something. And the our team was very kicked about this idea about how we're going to treat the movie and the
Right.
puns that we're going to make, the trolls that we're going to make about ourselves.
Right.
Trolling ourselves is it's a nice thing. I think that is a better sense of humor. I think that we can laugh at ourselves rather
Yes.
than people laughing at us. People should just laugh at the film, laugh about the film. They shouldn't laugh at us. Like, who made this film? Why they shouldn't laugh at us?
Right.
So
Yes.
we laughing, the characters laughing at themselves was better. That's what I thought.
Right.
Interesting.
Very
So
interesting.
it's like, so in the film itself, like, the first 20 minutes where you show his vision, right? It's technically his vision, how he wants
Yes,
to, the scale,
yes.
all of the boxes where everything is happening. And it's again like to your earlier point where while writing only you had that insecurity, and I think every director will have that insecurity whether I'm able to replicate my script onto the screen as I wanted it or not. And you clearly show the difference also, how grand your imagination was, but the reality is far from different. So I
So
wanted to expand on the thought that how important, or how for a creator, how necessary is that insecurity while he's creating that art form.
doesn't have to be for everybody. I mean, if there is a lot of experience and people are a lot confident about what they make, I don't think that insecurity will arise. I'm a first time filmmaker. But according to me, if there is no insecurity in the script, you're not being hungry and foolish sometimes. There's nothing called perfect. I mean, if it's art is always imperfect for me. and there should be a form of insecurity. What if people will understand this? Ultimately, you're making a movie for somebody else. I mean, for the half of the time you think that you're making for you, but it's almost like somebody else appreciating, somebody else connecting to the movie. So that way, I think insecurity should always be there. Insecurity is better than overconfidence. Is what I believe. And the first 20 minutes, like what you mentioned, see that's there is an open end to it. That so initially we thought of a climax where whatever the story that he was, the visuals that you see
Yeah.
could be put in the end, only the first scene of it, like 10 seconds of it, and he's actually shot the movie after that, after whatever has happened. So the guy who's
Yeah.
listened to it, we don't know what he has imagined.
Yeah.
So we thought of
Right.
a lot of things. We thought that it's already so many gimmicks, and we should add more to it. And the first 20 minutes, the first 15 minutes is that was a big task to shoot. I mean, around 50% of the budget of the film went into that.
Right.
Because we've used almost all camera gimmicks except for a robotic camera. We have used almost all of
Right.
it. The reason was the desperation of a new director that he has to use all cameras, all lights, all angles, everything. That is a subtle layer to it. And it was the college is an ideal college, like how we see in Bollywood movies. Like
Correct.
it's a proper setup, and there's huge campus and women, and all of that won't exist in real life. At least what we have seen, whatever hostels that we have seen. That was the contrast that we wanted to show.
Right. The opening short film that he narrates is actually also an allegory to the rest of the film, right? It's like it foreshadows whatever events that happen in the rest of the film,
Yeah, yeah,
and it almost repeats itself two three times throughout the film.
yes, yes,
So yeah, so that was very interesting. And so with in the writing itself, so there are a couple of transitions that I actually love. So one of the transition is when actually Abhi realizes that the warden has passed away, and he thinks the studious guy is also about to commit suicide because Ajit told the same story. He
yeah,
pushes the
yeah,
camera away, and the camera turns behind, and he's already at the
yeah.
table and he's grabbing something. So that's a smooth transition. So that I love the transition. And one other thing
No, that
is,
was by accident, by the way. I mean,
oh,
if you have to credit
okay,
it to accident, because that was
happy
taken for
accident.
two shots, and when we cut the two shots, magically it appeared. I mean, it was not planned.
Right, right. So happy accident. So that was quite. I mean, like I noticed it in the first time and was quite impressed by it. And one of the other many transitions that you said you put a lot of effort into is that the one of the guy drinks mojito and he places on the table. Top angle shot, it
Yeah,
dissolves into the swimming pool. So all of these transitions, were the transitions written into the script, or
yeah, yeah.
all of it, or did you find
Like
anything in the
to the
editing
T.
table?
No, no, no. The first 20 minutes was storyboard, like completely.
Right,
I think I watched some thousand ads that usually don't come on TVs or YouTube. I mean, I went into every ad filmmaker's profile on Instagram, watched their best ads, need only for transitions. And I think I've pinged around like 30, 40 people of how they've used. I mean, I couldn't achieve half of what we thought that should come, but the transition part was clearly storyboard. I mean, it didn't come because
right,
every bit of it was planned.
right.
The handicam part is not the after the one thing that was not planned, but this one was planned.
Right. So every transition in the starting portion was planned, but the handicam part, most of it was found on edit table, or was it like?
Or short, or most of it, like we used to do a lot of rehearsals. Like, I'll tell you how it used to work. Imagine, so we didn't cast anybody, like as in we didn't give a specific role to anybody until the previous day that we went to the location. We did nobody knew which role they're playing. I mean, I'm talking about 150 people who were
Right,
there with us. We took them all to the hostel from Bangalore and across Karnataka. We stayed in the hostel. We made sure most of them were never stayed in the hostel, so we made sure that they stay there for a couple of days,
Right. Nice.
and we all stayed together. The entire cast and crew stayed together, and there we started observing people. I mean, previous week also we had some rehearsals, and there we gave roles to each other, like watching their behavior skills and which dialogue should suit whom. So nobody knew which role they would be playing. So there, that is how the casting process started, and every scene we used to rehearse it a lot of times because there used to be a lot of blocking, and it's a very small rooms that where we shot, and the camera had to move a lot of times. Used to pan, so there used to be focus, there used to be punch dialogue, there used to be light issue. So that was completely rehearsed.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
it
yeah.
actually shows
Mm,
because like there are very long shots with handheld camera, and people are actually moving where they should. The camera is also moving. So camera is basically we are traveling with camera, but it's like there is no mismatch, as in like the
No,
story keeps on going.
there is as in a few times we just kept it organic that even if there's a dialogue coming from another place, we did not pan because
correct.
Yeah.
so I usually say this that the way that we have shot this, the genre that we have shot this,
Cinematography.
we have blended a lot of genres, but when somebody asks what is happening in the next room, we don't know. Probably there could have been another murder happening in the hostel, but this guy
Okay.
couldn't capture. The only hard is that the editor got is this. Yeah, so it's not like a parallel universe, and we don't know what is happening there. Another timeline is happening.
So
Right.
this is what I meant when I said ki, like you probably meant a larger thing also, that so Ajit has as a storyteller has a story in it, and at every 20-25 minutes he thinks of something. But let's say in the story Genie comes, then Rishabh Shetty, the seniors come, uh, then something else happens. So all of this is the randomness that you are referring to. It's like we have a plan in life. We have a plan of action, but uh, the one thing that can't be planned or can't be assessed, or as humans we can't comprehend, is the randomness of the universe. And I see the randomness of the universe playing whatever part it has to play in the story completely. I think that is the larger point that you wanted to clearly show in the movie.
See, there is see, how much of a randomness if you see in the universe. They say there's a pattern. Even the way birds fly, whatever it is, birds fly in random. But if you actually take a bird's eye view of the entire thing, if you put it in a graph or something, there is an order to entire thing. So whatever he thought about the story, that however it had to end, almost ended that way, and he got a better footage out of the entire movie. Is what I feel. I don't know what Ajit feels. I think he got a
Right.
better footage, and if he had shot the way he had planned, like he had gone to the terrace, and if he had made him
Yes.
go down that rope, I don't think that would have been a better story than this.
Right. So randomness
Right.
is not bad in general.
Yeah, it is not bad. It can arise. It can, new possibilities, new roads to your same destination. It can give new roads to your destination.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it that keeps happening. The randomness because the seniors arrive at that place. He finds out that there's another way that they can go out of the hostel. That hole,
Yeah,
and there's a reference to uh,
kana kana kindi,
I'm forgetting the film.
kana kana kindi.
No, no. I mean,
Uh,
uh, anyway, so that happens at random, and of course, Genie and the other seniors interfere at the climax, and they burn it up, and then and when I saw it for the first time, I was not sure why the warden was still acting, but
yeah.
because he doesn't know what happens before. He doesn't know that all of them have realized that he's actually not dead. He doesn't know this information. That's why he's still acting, and because he has not called for a cut, he assumed that this is a natural reaction. The fire and water are natural reactions for his scene. That I realized in the second time. I did not realize that for the first time, and because I was thinking about that part, that line he says it. Whenever I say cut, you have to come out of it. But
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
going for I was
That was
going to that
subtly
scene.
placed because if we had underlined that thing, people would have
Yes.
guessed that probably. So,
Yes, yes. So I was thinking, why is he not saying cut? But then it happens at random, and then he's not, everything is out of his control. So he's asking for the water guy to spray the fake rain and all that happens. And by the end he realized that he literally says that a line out, right? It's a miracle. So a miracle happened, and he accepts that randomness. So that was quite good touch, is what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I was referencing Shawshank Redemption. Sorry, I just got the name
yeah, yeah,
Shawshank Redemption.
and, yeah.
There is a dialogue even saying that how many years would they have taken for digging this hole up and all. And there's a Shawshank Redemption shot on the terrace as well. They're drinking
And
beer,
then
they're
yes,
drinking something and
yes,
all.
yes.
So yeah,
So if you have watched the Kannada version, there are a lot of jokes you might have missed out because of popular culture references in the dialogues.
right.
That could have also
Probably
well
landed. Yeah, if
and
you
in
please, yeah.
theaters we had a problem that so I don't know how many movies do this, but our sound engineer was Mr. Raja Krishna. He's national award winning. He did Pushpa and all of that. He got national for Rangasthalam, I guess. He said
Yes,
nobody
yes.
does this. What we did was usually when somebody speaks, the main character speaks, they put the dialogue in the LCR, left, center, right, in the front, so
Hmm.
that every dialogue is audible to audience. So what we had done is because we had dubbed the movie for 75 days. A regular film takes around 11 to 12 days because that's how many days the artists are available. So, but we did a lot of dubbing, background dubbings, too many because we wanted that feel, that chaos. So, and most of the audio, around like 70% of the audio in the theaters, it was surround. We put it in
Right,
all the seven speakers around. But some theaters, unfortunately, were not equipped with theaters, so some dialogues are missing out. I still remember
right.
in one of our premieres, Raja Sahib was so disappointed. He got out of the premiere saying, "I'm not going to watch it." That's not how we designed it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of complaint that we need better theaters, better audio systems. At least in Hyderabad, we see that a lot. We don't have an IMAX screen. If you want to watch a very like Avatar 2, we did not have an IMAX screen to watch. Uh, yeah.
and
Uh,
so and you mentioned in one of the interviews saying that you had 600 layers of sound, and you just mentioned how
Yeah.
many days you took to do that sound. So, and you said that you had written pages of dialogues which were actually never used in the film. So how many dialogues did you actually write, and how many of them actually made into the film? And with respect to the script as well, how much of script
No.
was not been shot or
So
shot and
what
edited out?
was the script that was shot and dialogues? So we use a lot of background dialogues. I think a book full of background dialogues because we didn't want just a random chatter. We wanted exactly specifically whatever whoever if you listen carefully every dialogue that comes in the background is there. And we
Right.
did a lot of improvisation in dubbing also because we had a chance that the camera is not exactly on somebody's
hmm.
lips, so we could change it a bit. We've
Right.
done
Right.
that
Right.
also. Yeah, the layers, 600 layers, why I keep mentioning is because the engineers used to get so irritated at one point because just to change one dialogue, that he had to scroll down so
That,
much
Oh,
and
that's
come to
exactly
that
what I was
point, and
thinking when you mentioned 600 layers, because
yeah,
it,
he
it
had
gives
to
me a
mute
headache
it.
to think about
Yeah,
the
it will
timeline.
literally give you a headache. There's another thing. I don't know if in theaters you see the because of the camera movement. I remember after the first cut was done, I was watching the movie. We usually watch it in the laptop, there in the offline edit. So once we thought my friend had a home theater and thought we'll watch it in his home theater. Suddenly, I got a feeling that what if people get a headache because of
Right.
the motion sickness? Some people have motion sickness. So then we thought we can't do anything about it. This is how it is going to be shot. Fortunately, nobody complained
Okay.
about the motion sickness. So we thought like if they actually have a complaint, while coming out of the theater, they'll definitely tell this is the worst film ever made. Half of it because of the physical headache they get.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Uh, so,
Hmm.
so there is there is a lot of social commentary. I mean, so let's say, for example, right? We critique religion in the film. We critique caste in the film. We critique how students are actually stupid. How they fight for, how they make a mess out of a tea not being good, and a bunch of other things, right? Varying from what students actually behave to, let's say, very big social issues like caste, religion, etc., etc.
It's
But
also about women, like how
yeah,
we
yeah,
objectify women,
correct.
Objectifying and judging
Uh,
them by based on having a heart symbol or not, or like in their names, something like that.
and
There's
how the
kind of
editor puts in the videos of
yes, yes,
heroine.
yeah,
heroine. Yeah,
yeah.
that's also true. Yeah.
So, but so one thing I wanted to get into was, until people knew that the warden was dead, they behave in a certain way, and once they know that he is alive, they will behave in a certain way. And this is very common, right? So this is very common that people always praise the ones, like, generally people who keep talking behind their back. So once they are dead, they go ahead and praise him, or vice versa happens, right? So why do you think, or in general, in a larger perspective, why do you think human beings behave in such a way?
Why? See, uh, the whole core behavior of a human is usually to have a relationship with somebody, right? So, it's like we're not like most animals that they only have it with their family. We have a relationship with everybody, and we want to relate with them, and we want to impress them at every point because you want the other person to like you. No, you don't want anybody to hate you. That is
Correct.
one thing. And even if you hate somebody, you don't want to show it sometimes. I mean, either you don't have the power to show it, or you don't like to show it, not be very expressive. So these people all hate Warden, but they don't show it. And once he's dead, they just liberally, taunt him and all of that. And he, after knowing that he's not dead, they're all scared that this is just going to be over in like 15, 20 minutes, and he has to go through all the other 3, 4 years. That is one thing. And if you ask me why we have put a lot of social commentary in the movie, one thing is that we didn't want to diminish this film just by telling that it's a comedy film. This is not just a comedy film. For me, it's a thriller. It's a blend of genre,
True.
and there is also a lot of philosophical
Lost him, huh?
jokes. Can't hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Now it's
Can
back.
you Can I, yeah, there's a lot of philosophical jokes, and there's subtle, social commentary across the movie about women and
True.
caste and religion. And so somebody asked me if we have mocked a religion because of Xavier. It's the entire Xavier episode. Warden is still alive because of Xavier, is what I still believe. Because the water, the holy water,
Holy
fell
water.
inside the. It might be an accident. For me, it's a serendipity. So the water, the rain, the entire shooting range started only because of that. And he wants to
Right.
believe that Warden was dead from beginning. And just
Uh,
because of the water, he is alive. There's
right.
a round up to most of it.
Right. I mean,
Right.
so what I believe is that I mean, this is generally how it is as well. Like, so artists or say stand-up comics or artists like filmmakers like yourself, so they have to be angry at some level, at things at some level, and when that anger is converted into when they're making a film and expressing themselves, so that anger in manifests itself into certain commentary that you're doing right now. So is that the reason why you chose this way of storytelling, and then place all the breadcrumbs throughout the film, right from social commentary on geopolitical social commentary on Afghan war, on Russian war, to right to legalizing weed at the very end. So all of this is the plethora of references that you do. So that is where is that where your expression is coming from?
Uh, Not on all topics. I wasn't angry on all topics, but most of the topics affect me. So that's the medium where I can interact with the world, and
Right.
it's also a form of entertainment. That if you have to say something, you don't have to tell it in the same way. Like for example, the Smita
Right.
sequence where everybody texts her and everybody thinks that she loves him just because
She
she's
stays.
being nice.
She's been nice. Yes.
And there's a round off in the end where we show that she blocks all the three of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if she's making out, so half of the people couldn't get, I think, Smita sequence. They thought she's a woman with bad taste and all of that. But so the probably the way I've shown did not, was not easily comprehensible to people. But there in the end, I actually show that she's a very nice woman and she has her own choices to make. And
Yeah.
because you thought of something, and it can't be the way that you assume that she is like that. So yes, that could be caste also. Like we always fight about caste. So however we say we are liberal, it comes
Right.
around somewhere. It comes up somewhere, and I wanted to show it in a place where they have a dead body, and the
Yes.
most important thing for them would be that, and they still talk about casually about a
Yeah.
caste remark. They make a caste remark. Yes.
True. True. And like in that particular scene, two instances where I was completely blown away was,
Hello.
I think Kashi is his name, so he just puts his thread under his banyan,
Yeah.
and Abhi, literally one of the guys stomps on his leg and he says, "You have been stomping us since years."
Yeah.
Without even mentioning what you wanted to say, you said what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. That's kudos to that.
So that I really like. I mean, so I don't know how did you do that. I don't know how many days of writing you did, but you try to bring in all sides of perspective, right? So just like in the scene that we just mentioned, it tells both side of story at some point. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, and yesterday I realized this yesterday, and I absolutely loved it, was how you bring in the 8 Mile reference and people go on rapping, and in a way it is a satire on rap also, how people are like very like in rap people are like, I'm that, I'll fuck you, etc., etc. So that is what
So,
most of the rap.
what the idea behind rap was that we did not mention the dialogue. We thought whoever understand. So usually when they rap, what do they rap about? I have a Lamborghini, I have a car.
Yes,
These
exactly.
people used to rap about poverty. Like I am. So in Kannada they say "Nan badwa." Anything you say, it's just "I badapa, meer peddorro." I don't have
Yes.
money. You guys are big guys. That's how we say. "Ab bade log hai." That's how it's some very very casual in Kannada. That's how they say. So I wanted to use that, and that is how that these people are rapping. Even in the rap, they're forgetting the grammar of the entire rap. Usually, rap is like rich to no, rags to riches. These people are happy that they're rags.
So
Yeah.
actually, I relate. I mean, I don't know if you related this with whatever I'm saying, but I did relate. Um, okay, this might get into some muddy waters, but I'll still say. So this whole concept of woke culture, right? So the idea of woke culture, like fundamentally, is from so it's coming from a place from oppression, like oppressors and oppressed. And here the battle between the rappers is I am poorer and I am poorer. So that battle we
Yeah.
still see. Yeah. So that's what happens generally. Like that is what is happening in West. Because of this I am oppressed. Because of this I am oppressed is how they're boxing themselves into categories. At least in the West, we see that phenomenon. We do not see that here, at least in India. But when I saw how both of these groups were rapping, saying that I am poorer and I am poorer, I did draw a parallel to that as well. I'm not saying you did, but I did draw a parallel.
I didn't think of it in that angle. So the whole idea of here was just to make us these people are so against, I mean, away and lost in everything that they're not even able to understand what a rap is. They want to rap, but they want to rap about their poverty and how poor that we are. Though usually when we are kids, we used to tell, "Oh, my daddy is the strongest. I'm the richest." All of that. Here, they're proudly telling about their poverty.
Yeah.
True. I
In
mean,
a way, all of them in the hostel face identity crisis. That is why they go
Yeah.
behind
See,
our faculty, our
yeah, at that night, all they wanted was a distraction.
yeah.
They have exams tomorrow. They just want one small distraction. If they can protest over a tea, imagine how lost they are. Like they just want one distraction, one fight, so that it's a
yes.
relief for them.
They don't want
Yeah.
to study. They don't want to. They don't want to face whatever
They
is
want to, yeah, they don't want to
important.
confront an exam. They just want to create another commotion and get on with it.
Right.
But that song is beautifully shot. Like it's very
Thank you.
choreographed. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, can't
Yeah.
imagine so many, like you've choreographed so many people at that same time, and like and the blocks are always wide, right? Like everyone is almost visible in almost all the frames, and
Visible.
yeah.
they're they are dancing in
That
sync, almost in sync.
that is one of the reason why we gave them a bit of simpler steps and
Right.
not extremely complicated steps because and we shot it for around 7 8 days and if we shot it in Mangalore and it was raining continuously, I think we could only shoot like 15 20 seconds a day because we when the rain stops we used to shoot and I remember I got a shoulder dislocated while running through the mud and I fell off. But we didn't stop shooting. The choreography started.
Right.
I went to the hospital, and the next day,
Wow. And and there is so the guy who gets water, right? Like the fake rain, the guy who
yeah,
is running the tanker. So he's also doing a commentary, and like he's talking with his setup or whatever, and like he's doing commentary on the boy, saying that I think they came to a film shoot for the first time. They're very excited. So you're kind of talking about yourselves, and also he says that earlier in my days it used to be on film and everybody used to be on time, and now it is digital and nobody is maintaining. So you take a dig at that as well.
I've heard this. I've heard this a lot of times from old timers. So I've heard it from light boys. I've heard it from people who do the rain thing, from the sound guys, from the old cameramen. That earlier, this is not how the luxury of what you guys are shooting. Like now
Correct.
you just have a digital, just shoot, 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 shoot. So there's another film makers reference.
I mean, so my question was leading to that thing actually. So how much of it did you ever actually overshoot, or like is there any lot of deleted scenes
Uh,
that are that are
yeah,
in a
yeah.
hard disk?
There are a lot of deleted scenes, and we have to go overshot. We've shot it for around 75 days. So reshot the entire song. The song that we
Right,
shot didn't work out for us, so we reshot the entire song.
right,
And the climax, we never, the end climax, after going to the terrace, that we did not shoot until we had the final cut. I did not even write it until I got the final cut because I wanted to see how the film will come up. Only then let the film decide is what I thought. We
right,
had a lot of options,
right,
but
right. And one most popular question that is popping up on our socials, because we asked about any questions, and that is there going to be a part two? Because the opening film is starts off saying Hostel Hudugaru Bekagidare Part 2, and your film starts saying Part 1. So is there any other hard disk that is left to be edited?
so
So
there's definitely not going to be a part two. If at all it comes, there's going to be a part three. So it's not going to be a part two because the film starts with a part two, and
Yeah.
right.
this the after 15 minutes it says part one.
Yes.
It's
So glad there is a Part 3 at least.
not
So
sure. We'll see. I mean, whatever the hard disk that the editor has got, I haven't received it yet. So we'll see what the editor says.
Right,
This is again
right.
going in meta.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. And there is this inhibitions that Ajit has, right? So in one of the scenes when they're going to get genie, so one of the guy mentions saying that Ajit actually took out the senior characters from his actual short film, because he doesn't like them, and like and
Yeah.
and his biases get exposed when they ask Rana to take out the packet, and he actually take out Jarda packet and says, we'll eat Jarda and spit on Warden's door. So he actually, this is Ajit's writing that line for Rana, right? So this is
Yes,
Ajit's
Ajay is
bias
writing for
towards
So
Rana
that
and
is
north and
how
south
that
and thing.
that is how he's stereotypical in his head, probably. That's how he like, and he doesn't like characters, so he doesn't bring in characters which he doesn't like. He
Yes.
hasn't bought any people from outside, and this one and this. See, the first 15 minutes is not exactly like how Ajit wrote. It could be also how Abhi imagined it, because the producer's son who's gonna come and often here and there. It could be in the shoot, not could be in the story. Could be coming in the shoot there. So it's like dream inside a dream.
Nice. Yeah. And very, very, very clever hat tip to Christopher Nolan without actually mentioning Nolan. So you just say Christopher
Yeah,
while looking up. So great hat tip to that. And yeah. And you ended actually by saying that we like, hopefully I get a next dream where weed is legalized in India. So
yeah.
Sandy's long lasting dream.
um,
Yeah.
so, so one other thing that I found very interesting in general on a, let's say behavior pattern on people, right? So Xavier finds God to tell his fears to. So one other character wants seniors to get involved so that he'll move out of that. One other wants parents to get involved in some other situation. So all of us basically we wish to have a comfort zone, whether that be the ultimate god or our near and dear ones or our friends or etc etc. The difference might be stark on how we are expressing ourselves, but there is always one way where we tend to lean our shoulder, like we tend to lie on their shoulder, right? So that is actually shown here multiple times. uh, Xavier going to God, or that guy who's persistent on calling Genie, because without that guy the story wouldn't have turned, without Genie coming into play. So is that uh, consciously put in the story, or you just went with it?
So that is what I've consciously written. So we need a new character, a new conflict, because there is not much of a big conflict in the entire movie. We just have to take it from the fourth floor to the ground floor. So
Right.
what else could you, like I whole idea of keeping this inside? We would have thought of keeping it in a town. We can keep this entire story in a town. Like they just have to move the body from this house to the lake or something. But I wanted to challenge myself with the constraints should be more. As in, they just have to take it from here to here, so that the writing constraints are more, and the number of conflicts that it keeps appearing in every floor, and how everybody's thought process works, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have an unanimous idea about everything. Everybody has a different idea. Everybody has a different guardian to rely on.
Right.
So they have Xavier has God, Ajit has a plan, somebody else has seniors. It's like that. So they all go in different ways and bring solutions and conflicts together. And
Correct.
some of the film chooses what to take.
Right. It's very interesting. You say the film chooses what to take. Uh,
Right.
uh,
And Genie literally has no plan. He just scribbles something and says, "This is a plan," actually, and burns the plan.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was that was hilarious. And
and
immediately in the next shot, when he looks at the camera and Nikki and asks, "Who are you?" and then a second later he said, "Who am I? What am I doing here?" And he also has some
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of some kind of identity crisis there. And I have to do this, I have to go phases, and then
That
At
is
that point,
also
yeah,
his
yeah.
weed kicking in.
of course, yeah, that's
Mid-
also there.
yeah.
That's also there, true. Yeah. Any more points on it?
I mean, I can we can keep on talking on each
I
Yeah, yeah,
might have
each
to
of this.
leave.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
that's what I
that's
just
why.
like.
So I
Uh,
think we will end it here. Maybe. Yeah. So as I said in the start, I think it's one of the. I think this is the best film to come out this year.
Thank you.
Very unique. Um yeah. So before you leave, I just want to like know how did you feel about the conversation? What were you expecting? Uh,
No, this is
yeah.
one of the most detailed, you know, people who've actually watched, and we've got a lot of nuances, got a lot of details, and interpreted it in mostly which could even connect to me. None of the questions were regular, like what I was doing before films, all of that. Thank you for not asking, because that is said that a lot of times. So it's a beautiful analysis of the film, and a lot of points that you mentioned, even few points I did not think of also, that actually it could have thought like could have been thought like this also. A lot of points. If you guys watch the Telugu version once, like I think in a couple of weeks, we should do this again, and you can find differences. Tell me if you guys like it or not. Like how do you could have made better, or if it's satisfying the needs of an audience.
sh-
Like
sure, sure,
I
sure.
forgot to
Yeah.
mention one thing. I saw your speech in Telugu. Uh, one of like most of our directors don't speak in Telugu. Even I can't speak in Telugu like you did on the stage. I don't know if it's prepared or not, but that was
I
very well
was
prepared.
prepared a bit. I was prepared a bit. I lost it in between because I don't know Telugu much, but I wanted to learn that because we dubbed the Telugu dialogues also for around 20-25 days there. So so wherever I go, I would like to respect that language and learn. Like try, if I want to try food, I can try the language also.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's very very open minded and very 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 nice thing to do. And
Yeah,
thank
it's
you,
there
thank
in the
you
film
for.
as well.
Yeah, so thank you for the kind words. And like
Yeah,
we would have wanted to talk more, but of course like time constraints and all. But yeah, thank you for that offer, that if when if and when the Telugu version comes out, we would want to do it again. And after watching the Telugu
Sure,
version,
definitely.
we'll ping you on your socials as usual. And yeah, thank you for doing this, and we'll hopefully see you again in another
yeah.
session.
Thank you, Prithvi. Thank you, Sandy. It was very nice of kind of you to do this with me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for your time. Thank you for your time.